Yo, what's going on, guys? And today, of course, we got to talk about Walker Kessler. Allegedly, he's not a part of the plans for the future of the Utah Jazz. That's what's coming out in reports, according to Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report. Shout out to Eric. I'm actually friends with Eric. Good guy. Good guy. Also, thank you for letting me. I actually worked for him this summer. Now, what he wrote was they've discussed the trade. The Knicks and the Jazz, allegedly 2 first-round picks were offered and they rebuffed. And Kessler lost playing time throughout the last season and allegedly does not seem to be part of the long-term plans for the Utah Jazz. And it makes sense because I think they realize he just doesn't fit the team. And look, he is a perfect fit for New York and what they want, but New York simply does not have the assets after trading Mikal Bridges to entice the Jazz to just give up Walker. Now, in my humble opinion, I think Walker Kessler is still the type of guy that if you are a team looking for a center, I think Walker Kessler can be a starting center in the NBA. I think he needs a certain team around him for him to be best utilized. And the team in Utah isn't there. Now, the trade that my boy Eric put out there was Brandon Ingram and Deron Sharp. Ingram from the Pelicans, Sharp from the Nets. Go to Utah. The Pelicans get Cam Johnson, Walker Kessler, and then obviously it generates a $13.5 million trade exception. And the Nets get John Collins, Bryson Sabat, and the 25 first rounder hire from the Cleveland Cavaliers or Minnesota through the Jazz. As marketing obviously is going to be a Jazz long term. Utah has 2 ways they could go. They could be focused on being more developmental and trying to tank and get a Cooper Flag. The Jazz owe their first round pick this upcoming year with top 10 protection to the Thunder. So they either have to be really good, or not really good, but good enough where they feel confident that they're heading in the right direction, or just tank. Assuming both, I think this is where the Jazz are a team that I personally think, looking at this situation with Walker Kessler, you got to find a team that needs a big. I don't think he's going to New York anymore. So I think a dark horse is Houston. I really think Houston is perfect for him. And I would assume a deal involving, but they have Steven Adams, so I think that kind of negates the reason why they would want to get someone like Walker. Another team is the Portland Trailblazers. I think the idea of Donovan Clingan and Walker Kessler being a rotation might entice them, but then you go DeAndre Ayton's there. And that would have to mean they would be able to move DeAndre Ayton, which I think at that point is going to be difficult. Now, you look at the rest of the league. I think the Washington or the team with the worst center, I would rather have Walker Kessler than Rashawn Holmes. So if I had to be a betting man, if I was a betting man, I would like to think that this is a team that would go ahead. I'm going to go here and say we should look at what potentially the Washington Wizards could offer here. And I know some of you are going to be like, well, what do I mean by that? Now let's go here. We'll pull up the Utah. At this point, I do think a 3-team trade of the Brooklyn Nets and the Jazz, that could get down the road and that could work. And right here, giving up all those assets, it's definitely interesting. And this is a video in its own right, but I don't know why I put the Nets, but the Wizards and the Jazz are 2 teams that I think would have interest doing business with each other. And now, right now, let me just reset this so this can fit the screen. I want this. Oh, it's because it's locked. Give us 1 second while we fix this for y'all. Alrighty, and then we'll go like that. And we're in the center of the screen. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Bravo. So the idea is, I think the only team that would want to take a flyer is Walker Kessler. From Walker Kessler is the Washington Wizards, because Kessler and Sarr could actually work. And I don't think they're trading homes here. This is where, and there's Jonas Valanciunas. And this might be a deal that could happen mid-season. So my thought is, this is a deal that there's two deals that I think could work here. But I do think the first one is right here is Walker Kessler. The money doesn't really matter. But what I do believe is making sure compensation. I'm also like, I have two screens right here, so I'm like looking over to the left. But it has to be here. I think you have to compensate. This is where it becomes difficult. I think if you want to just do a salary dump and just do picks, I think this is the easiest salary dump. Oof. This is where it becomes difficult. It becomes difficult which picks. Because supposedly they rebuffed the 2 first-round picks. So you got to find what picks are worthless right now. Do you take a chance and trade the Phoenix Suns picks from 2 years from now, hoping that situation's good? I wouldn't. I would not. This is where it becomes difficult. Do you give them a bunch of second-round picks? I just don't know what's the right deal right here for them in this situation. You don't want to give up control of any of your picks. So I don't know what the picks would be right here. If they rejected 2 first-round picks for Walker Kessler, I'm just putting a bunch of second-rounders. These are all in the wrong year. But the idea is, ignore that they're all 2026. I didn't want to go pick them, but you salary dump Johnny Davis. I really don't like this deal, but that would be the first one. Now let's get rid of all this. I think the most realistic deal right here, in my opinion, you look at the team, you look at both teams, you wait down the road, Jonas Valanciunas, Walker Kessler, and then who's a salary that they want up? I think they actually kind of, I don't know if they want to keep John Collins, but I think they don't necessarily I don't think they care that he's on the team. I think the bigger thing for them is getting rid of Jordan Clarkson. And then at this point, $17 million is incoming. And they only have 9.9. So who else in this deal could come in? Would they want to take on Marvin Bagley just to create cap room in the summer? Or would they want somebody else? My assumption is maybe they do want to just take on Marvin Bagley to create cap room. And they go ahead and just do this one that I'm about to show you. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure the Wizards would, and then we would assume picks would have to be here. And yeah, it's saying that it fails because of the restriction due to Mr. being a recently signed. Let's just turn these off. And then I think the deal should go through. Yeah, money wise, this goes through. Now let's see if we can just do a straight up take out Jonas, and then you would add picks to this. Yeah, they could do this. This does make the Jazz better. This is one deal that could work like that. And then another, which I came to mind right here. What if they don't want Jonas and they rather... I took off the wrong guy. And they just do Malcolm Brogdon for a point guard. That's the other one. Just, I think the Jazz want to save money. But at the same time, I think they want to bring a veteran in. And bringing either Brogdon or Jonas. Jonas is on a really cheap deal. He fits perfect next to Lowry. Plus 2 foreign guys. But also get off of money from Jordan. Obviously, you'd assume Wizards will have to trade picks. But let me hear your thoughts.